Ladies and gentlemen, welcome once again to the Packernet Podcast. I am your host and resident panelist, as always, Ryan Schlip. Check us out online, packernet.com. Find me on Twitter, pack_dadab. Well, today we are going to do exactly what I promised, although maybe not exactly. So what I had mentioned, kind of, is that rather than just spending the whole time speculating and or whining, whatever, why don't we actually dig into it and find out what happened? And I want to focus on offense. Maybe we'll switch to defense. I don't know. I tend to think offense is easier to diagnose. It's easier to see what the intent was. Defense can be a little bit more convoluted, at least for me. I don't know. Maybe it's different for different people. It's hard to know assignments and everything else on defense. Offense, they pretty much declare, the wide receivers run exactly the routes that they were told to run, so that's pretty straightforward. The offensive linemen, you can see exactly who they're blocking. Progressions and whatnot, maybe not quite as straightforward, but it doesn't super matter. So I wanted to look at offense today. Now, at the time, I was very frustrated, as I tend to get. I wouldn't even say with Jordan Love necessarily. My frustration is Jordan, like everybody else, had a bad day, and there is a crew of Jordan defenders that want to come in and pretend that he didn't have a bad day or his bad day was everybody else's fault. It was bad play calling, it was the drops, it was the pressure, it was the offensive line. And it just drives me absolutely freaking insane. However, why don't we do this? I had let me look who it was real quick if I can find it. I believe it was Steve Cook, if I'm not mistaken. Slap Happy Cookie on Twitter. He sends me a lot of stuff on here. It's kind of an offhand comment. He just quote tweeted Zach Cruz, who says, "This has to be a catch. Can't waste opportunities like this in big games." I didn't even click on it. I'm not going to now. I'm guessing it's the Jaden Reed drop. But Steve says, "Sometimes your wide receivers have to make plays." And my response to him was, that should be the standard for everybody. And honestly, when I said it, it was kind of a revelation for me in a way. Maybe not a revelation as much as a change of focus in my mind when I said it to Steve. Because I do think that that's the case. Right? There's all this arguing back and forth about who's to blame, Jordan or the receivers or whoever. Forget the blame part of it. You can call it blame or whatever you want to call it. The bottom line is when this team is playing at a high level, you see the heroic things. The quote unquote guys making plays. It's going above and beyond type stuff. It is catches like Tucker Kraft has made in the end zone or Romeo Doubs made in the end zone or the throw to Romeo Doubs. It's guys going above and beyond and putting the team on their shoulders. And that's what was missing in this game entirely. I don't think there was a single throw from Jordan Love that was impressive. I don't think there was a single effort from a wide receiver that was impressive. Even down the stretch, it was largely just, you can call Romeo's route running, I guess, impressive. But it was Romeo running basic out routes and Jordan throwing accurate passes, and then he catches it. That's not above and beyond. That is baseline exactly what we expect. So I guess what I want to do going through this is, yes, for one, highlight just the you are well below expectations, but also I want to see if I can find somebody doing anything. Putting the team on their back, making those heroic plays. Maybe it happened off screen. Maybe it was an offensive lineman making a great block. I don't know what it was. But it as we go through this, play by play, and I highlight, for example, this is what happened, this is who is stupid, and also attack some narratives directly, which was going to be a major focus of this, whereas now I want it to be an aside. Because there's a ton of narratives that people throw out. And again, I don't like when people just make claims. I want you to be able to back it up. I understand having a guess. I don't like that everybody guesses and pretends that their guess is just reality because I just said it off the top of my head. For example, every third down, we throw it 20 yards down the field. Or we draw up a deep pass. Okay, first of all, draw up implies that was the play. It was the only option, and it was exactly what was supposed to happen. Do you know that? And when you say every, I know you're being sarcastic, but how many times did it happen? What percentage of the time? Was it 100%? Was it 50%? Was it 75%? Was it 10%, 2%? What was it? How many other options were there? We don't know. We just say stuff. And I don't like that. I don't like just saying stuff. I like looking into things. It also is why I don't really have any problem dismissing a lot of what people say, because I've done a lot of the hard work and I listen to what people say, and it's just nonsense. It's just absolute nonsense. But in this regard, I don't know. And even right now, as I say this to you, you can kind of tell what direction we're going to go, because I did look at a couple things, so I have some context. For example, you can bet I looked at every third down play. So I already know the answer to those questions. But I don't know. This is my first official rewatch, so I don't know everything that happened. I don't remember everything perfectly. In fact, I'm sure I misremember most things. So that's just sort of the general framing of what I want to do right now live with you as we go through play by play. Not having to be stressed and anxious about what's going to happen. I know what's going to freaking happen. So there are 76 plays on offense. That does include extra points and whatnot, so we won't be looking at those. So, call it 70 or so offensive plays. So first play is a run play for Josh Jacobs. It goes for 2 yards, and it's kind of just a complete disaster from the beginning. The first thing that happens is they send a linebacker to blitz, and that's always going to be kind of confusing if you don't exactly know who's coming. Sean Ryan is a little late to identify it, and the linebacker is able to get immediately into Josh Jacobs' face. So we're talking 1, 2, 3, about 4 yards behind the line of scrimmage. He actually hits Josh Jacobs, who has to spin out of this. This could have been a 4-yard loss. He spins out of it. The second issue is Elton Jenkins here. So essentially, this is pretty simple. Elton Jenkins is just going to kind of get inside, kind of chip a guy here to kind of help out Rasheed Walker, and then get up to the next level. He doesn't, I don't exactly know. It's almost like he went after the other guy and kind of forgot about the first guy and then was like, oh, shoot, and came back and was a little worried about blocking him. The bottom line is he never made it to the next level. He never even tried. And so Josh Jacobs, again, did a good job of getting past that first guy. Fortunately, the linebackers were a little hesitant to just come downhill, so he was able to get to the line of scrimmage and then get to the level of the linebackers, who immediately brought him down. But, I mean, he's just staring at 3 linebackers just waiting for him. There was no blockers downfield except for, I think it's Jaden Reed, who blocked one guy. That's about it. And that's a corner. So the linebackers are right there. So, that sucked. If, however, you're looking for some positives, I'll give you a couple positive. Josh Myers absolutely obliterates a guy. He's coming in and seemingly catches number 97 off guard. I think that's Harrison. I'm not sure. But he completely catches him off guard, knocks him clean out of the equation, as does Zach Tom. So these two guys are pushed clean off the screen. They're gone. Rasheed Walker, I think, maybe could have handled his job. I don't really know why Elton was just like, nah, screw it. We got to make sure this guy's locked up, and just kind of let it be. Maybe he noticed that it was a disaster in the backfield, and if you let him go, it was going to be a loss. I don't really know. I really don't. But, Myers and Tom did a good job. Largely the issue with this play was Sean Ryan just not picking up a blitz in time. Next play is a 6-yard pickup. Essentially, nobody had to do anything spectacular here. I mean, it was a very, very quick. I can't even tell you if the offensive line did a good enough job blocking because the ball came out so unbelievably quick. Dontavian Wicks, Jordan Love does a good job of identifying that there's a lot of space and that Wicks is just going to sit down in this little hook and there's nobody going to be there, so why don't we just steal some yards? And I think we'll see what happens moving forward. I think most of us wanted this to be how the whole game went, right? If you can steal 6 yards, just take it. Don't worry about big plays down the field. Just identify where the open man is going to be. There's 4 guys running routes on this play. Identify who the man is going to be that's open down the field and throw it to that person. Now, with that said, there were 3 guys open. Yes, I said 3, and there were 4 guys. And the funny thing is, the 4th guy that wasn't open clearly was just sent down to block. So you had Tucker Kraft and Luke Musgrave to the left. Tucker Kraft just goes and bulldozes, leaving essentially a ton of space for Luke Musgrave. My preference would have been to throw to Musgrave. If not him, throw to Dobbs. He's running a quick out route, which I don't understand why the Green Bay Packers run out routes and they're open every single time. Run it every play. I don't know if it's great route running or what it is, but I've never seen the Packers just run an out route and it's just not there. It's another thing I'm going to keep an eye on. Has anybody ever covered an out route? But I mean, again, steal 6 yards. I'm fine with it. However, again, Musgrave with a blocker that is Tucker Kraft in front of him, potentially a big play. And then Dobbs would have at least, even if he went straight out of bounds, would have had another yard or two with the potential to turn the corner and get up the field. Wicks is immediately going to get hit from behind and taken down. But again, whatever. I'll take it. It's the easiest throw that was there. Because again, it was a little curl route. The other guys are in motion. Wicks stops and just stands there and says, hit me in the stomach. Next pass to Wicks was, absolute, it was a thing of beauty. Now, it was a predetermined throw. Nobody else was really open at the time, but they were still coming in and out of their routes. I mean, it was thrown very quickly. It was a timing route. Now, that last play to Wicks, you could argue, if you wanted to be super nitpicky, was late, right? He turned around, he stood there, he sat there, and then the ball came out, and then it got to him. This one, if you look at when Jordan Love threw the ball, he's still running forward. So this was wasn't even necessarily a back shoulder, but he's throwing it at Dontavian Wicks' back, who stops, turns around, grabs the ball, first down. That was a third down. He got a first down completion on that. So the timing there between Jordan and Wicks had to be impeccable, and it was great. Next play is a run with Josh Jacobs, and it's funny. I don't know if I did this last year. It's been a while since I've kind of just gone through the plays like this. The evolution of the run game is really impressive. This is not, and maybe it's a Josh Jacobs thing, I don't know. This is not in any way the type of running that I remember with A.J. Dillon or Aaron Jones. It's just not. I mean, it's much more complex. If you've been listening for a while and maybe you remember some of those episodes, it was very easy to describe, right? You'd have the left tackle blocks. You'd have the everybody to the right of him kind of takes on a double team. So you got the right guard center double team, and then you got the left guard center, and then the right guard right tackle, whatever. So you got two double teams, and you run up the middle, and you steal a couple yards, whatever. Like it was really easy to describe. This, very complex. Let me just give it a shot here, okay? Just to kind of give you an idea. Let's walk through this. First of all, double running backs. So two running backs in the backfield. You got Brooks and you got Jacobs. So that's already different than what we're used to. You've got Josh Jacobs is to the left, Brooks is to the right. At the snap, Josh Jacobs runs behind the quarterback, right, to try to get everybody confused. The linebackers aren't super confused, but it doesn't matter because they do such a good job with their blocking schemes. Usually when you're trying to be tricky and you're not tricking them, it's like, well, this play's screwed. First of all, you've got the left tackle immediately decides, I'm not blocking anybody. He gets up to the next level. And one of those two linebackers that's coming downhill, who already says, I know what you're doing, and runs in the right direction, which is away from where Jacobs is right now. So it's toward our right tackle. Both of them are going that way, but one of them is about to run right into Rasheed Walker. So it doesn't even matter that he did his job. Rasheed's right there. The right guard pushes the defensive tackle, everybody's pushing toward the right tackle. Everybody's pushing that direction. But there's an unblocked guy because Rasheed Walker went immediately up to the next level. Why? Because Sean Ryan is coming around the formation and is going to block that guy. And he does. He does a great job. He gets low and he pushes him down into the ground. Okay, so we got two linebackers. Everybody else is blocked. Two linebackers coming downhill. One of them is being annihilated by our left tackle. Both receivers, by the way, doing a great job blocking downfield. They're nowhere near the situation. And you got two high safeties. So they're right now 5, 10, 15, 20 yards away. So you got this one linebacker. What are you going to do? Well, that's what Brooks is for. Brooks is going to lead the way. He's going to get up there, and he's going to block the guy. Now, he doesn't do a fantastic job. And had he done a better job, maybe this would have been a massive run. But still, because it was blocked and because there was this much space and because Josh Jacobs is able to kind of maneuver his way through a couple of tackles and arm tackles and this, that, or the other, he fights his way forward. So, much more complicated stuff, and it's really exciting to see because some of the stuff that I remember them being asked to do was just stupid. Like I said, you've got right guards trying to run to the left of their left linebacker to cut them off. And it's like, that's never go like it just, and none of it made sense. You watch this stuff and it's like, you tried to trick them. It didn't work, but it doesn't matter because we got everybody accounted for. And the blocking is not that complicated. Asking the left tackle to do nothing, no chip blocks, nothing, just run immediately up and take out the linebacker that is to the right. I mean, he essentially was just standing there waiting for the linebacker to come at him. Like, let's go, big dog. Then we get the unfortunate play, which, again, it was going to be a big play. Wasn't even perfectly blocked, but it didn't need to be. I mean, it's really good design. A lot of these run plays, the great thing about them is you don't need, on a passing play, as far as blocking is concerned, you're only as strong as your weakest link. Run plays, not necessarily, because you're kind of just focused on a certain area. You can fail in certain areas and kind of get away with it. Tucker Kraft, first of all, I think that's him. I'll have to verify that. Yeah, it is. Fantastic job because they're giving him a tough responsibility. He has to, is that Tucker Kraft? Oh, yeah, he's coming across the formation. So he's got to come across the formation in mano-a-mano and edge rusher. So, I mean, and that's to the side you're running through. You're running to the right side. I mean, it's hard to say off the tackle because you got Ben Sims off the end, and then he comes off of his end. So it's between the two tight ends, but still, that's a heck of a bold run because you've got Ben Sims and Tucker Kraft creating a hole that Elton Jenkins is going to lead block through, and Dontavian Wicks is also responsible for one of the linebackers. So you got two tight ends and a wide receiver largely responsible for this. And Elton Jenkins comes in, helps Wicks out a little bit. I think that's Wicks. Wicks or Heath. I can't tell if that's a 3 or an 8. But it's really well blocked. I mean, the tight end, Ben Sims, pushes his guy. I mean, he's on a defensive tackle, if I'm not mistaken. He pushes him clear off the map. Absolutely crazy. Looks like, again, Rasheed Walker looks like he lost off the left side, but it doesn't matter because our running back, Josh Jacobs, is able to get through there fast enough. Sean Ryan is dominating the guy. Zach Tom is dominating the guy. Our center is dominating the guy. Everybody seems to be doing a good job. Again, the tight ends, what an incredible job. And then Elton Jenkins leads blocks. He kind of just helps out the wide receiver a little bit just to make sure that he doesn't stand up and do anything. Josh Jacobs runs right through there. It's a little tight, but he's able to do it and gets just a ton of yards, makes a guy miss, but unfortunately the ball pops out. So, I mean, you look at that first drive and you would think, this is really good. I like the play calling. I like the execution. The good thing about these run designs, and maybe the reason for the simplicity early, is because these are really complicated things that guys got to know what they're doing, right? They've been together a while now, and so you can maybe start doing some more complicated stuff. But it looks beautiful. Even, Jordan, they're not tough passes, but they're accurate. The decision-making is there. Again, on that first pass, I maybe would have gone a different direction, but again, it's the easiest one. It's right there, and you're stealing 6 yards. The run blocking has been great. The pass blocking has been good enough. Again, quick passes, so who knows? And everything's great. It's just a fumble. So you say, well, they'll be fine as long as they can keep this up. We'll take a break. I will do my best to speed this up. There's no promises. I always forget how long this takes. It's weird because I feel like I've been talking for 2 minutes and we're almost 20 minutes into this. We'll take a break and we'll start ripping through some more of these offensive plays. So the second drive is one of the more scrutinized drives of the game for most people. I feel like the consensus is we fumbled the ball. Josh Jacobs fumbled the ball. So Matt LaFleur and Jordan Love both gave the middle finger, or one of the two, to the run game, and they decided to just pass, especially with a bunch of deep shots. Just 20-yard pass, 20-yard pass, 20-yard pass. And I think a lot of the scrutiny comes because it didn't work, right? I mean, if you come out and you take a shot 20 yards down the field and convert it, nobody's mad at that. Why would anybody be mad at that? So let's look at the first pass and see, for example, why it didn't work. So we got Jaden Reed in motion. He's doing that weird little hook thing where he comes in front of the quarterback, goes around behind the quarterback, around the other way. That's pretty well covered. He could throw it to him, maybe make a man miss and make a play. If he doesn't make a man miss, though, then you're possibly losing something here. You've got, it looks like Wicks running down the middle of the field. He's pretty well covered. And then you've really got two options. You can take a shot at Romeo Doubs, And this is again, it's one of those timing things. By the time Jordan's throwing it, he's just coming out of his break. So he's trusting Romeo to get out of his break and get to the sideline. And if he can throw an accurate ball and if Romeo can get there, the play is going to work. There is also an option underneath where Tucker Kraft sat in his zone, very similar to the Wicks play earlier, could easily steal. He's 5 yards down the field. I'm talking from the stick. So this is a 5-yard gain plus whatever he can turn and pick up, if anything. So first down, you can steal 5 or you can take a shot to Romeo Doubs. Jordan chooses, and I want to emphasize chooses, to throw it to Romeo Doubs here. Now, I'm not even saying that's the wrong decision, but you choose not to do the safe thing and go to the tight end and to throw it to Dontavian Wicks. And it wasn't even a bad decision because guess what? Romeo Doubs does beat the corner and he does get to the sideline with some separation. The problem is the ball hits Romeo Doubs basically in the toes. It's a bad ball. So he chooses the more difficult pass and he doesn't throw the ball accurately. And as far as pass blocking goes, that's as clean of a pocket as you're ever going to find. But it happens. It's one play. 2nd and 10. Here we go. This one is similar, but not quite the same. You've got several people running routes. However, most of them are pretty blocked up. The other thing is, I don't think Jordan had any intention of going anywhere else. And again, that's not really a problem. I think that this is entirely intentional. You've got single high. You've got Wicks running deep and to the out to the boundary. So all he's got to do is beat his man, and he does. Now, could he have swung it out to Josh Jacobs and tried to make a man miss? Yes, and if he does, that's probably a huge play. That's one option, but he also might not make a miss, and it could be a problem. You have Jaden Reed, again, running an out route. Now, it's pretty tight. It would have to be a really good ball, but I think he probably could have got the ball there. That would have been an option. Everything else is pretty well blocked up. But here's the thing. Again, throwing to Wicks is not a problem. The play design is not a problem. The decision to run this play is not a problem because the bottom line is you're running a play that is designed presumably to get Wicks open down the field, and it does. He's in man coverage, and he beats his man. So what's the problem? The problem is the ball is way too far outside. Now, could you argue that maybe he could have caught that? You could try if you wanted to. I think there's a very serious problem, though. And the very serious problem is the only way he catches it is with his arms completely extended out about 2 inches above the ground. You think after he clamps that thing down and comes into the ground with the ball smacking into the ground that ball is not going to come out? I don't think so. I don't. If you want to put the blame on Wicks for that one, I would give it maybe 2 to 5% blame on Wicks. If you want to blame LaFleur for not running the ball there, that's also something that you could do. But again, the defense is going to give you something. The question is, can you identify what they're going to do and draw up a play that's going to aggressively attack that? If they're playing to stop the run and you're like, okay, fine, then we're going to run deep and get a guy open, then that's what you need to do. The point is, though, your quarterback needs to be able to throw the ball accurately to the receiver, and he did not. If you want to run into a defense trying to stop the run just to protect yourself from the quarterback, fine. But don't go around protecting the quarterback then in terms of, defending him. I mean, if we're going to treat him like a third stringer where it's like, I'll just run the ball, dude, because this guy can't throw, fine. Then I guess that's your opinion of the quarterback. If that's not your opinion of him, then you run this play and you execute it. But okay, whatever. He's missed 2 in a row. That sucks. Again, there were options underneath in both cases. I don't know. Did I mention Tucker in this one? I don't remember if I did or not. Oh, no, that was... No. Tucker wasn't open in this one. They took that away this time. So you had the swing pass to the running back if you wanted to. You had the quick out to Reed if you wanted to. Those are tight fits, and you're kind of trusting your guys. The trust yourself throw was to Wicks, and it was open. It was there. It's not a bad decision to do it if the play is there. It only sucks if there's nowhere to go. It was a bad decision, a bad play call, or whatever if there's nobody open. That's not the case here. You wanted to hit Wicks down the field. He gets wide open down the field. And yes, I'm going to say wide open. When you got to step on a guy, I'm going to call it wide open. That play was there. So now it's 3rd and 10. Obviously, you have to pass again. You're kind of at a point now where there is not really much choice. You're backed up. You're at the 15-yard line. You got 3rd and 10. It's one of those things where you run your best play, whatever you got for this, go ahead and try it. Vikings come up and they're going to press our guys. They're going to say, okay, we're going to bring a blitz. First of all, we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 guys coming after Jordan, and we're going to press your guys so that you don't have a lot of time. This is about get out of that, as a receiver, get off of that press, get open, because there's not going to be a lot of help. If you can just get away from this guy and get open, you're golden. And then Jordan needs to find that guy and just throw it to him. But we got to act quick here. Now, this play sucks a lot. A lot of things here annoy me. First of all, let's start with the offensive line. Rasheed Walker immediately gives up a pressure, right? It's bad enough when you got 6 guys. But when you're the one guy that's got like one-on-one responsibility, you just have to keep doing the job you've been doing. Everybody else has got a crap job to figure out. We got a running back in there that has to block. We got tight ends that got to chip and do all this stuff. Like we got to figure. You just have to keep doing your job. Nope, he just gets right around him and he gets to Jordan almost immediately. Everybody else is blocked up. Everybody else does a good job. Now, we can blame that on the bad throw if we want to. We can. And maybe Jordan saw it coming. It came from his blind side, so I don't think he did. He didn't. In fact, I'm going to tell you right now, he didn't know that he was going to get hit. So that's one issue. The second thing is, did getting hit kind of disrupt this? It's possible. I can't tell if the ball's out first or if he gets hit first. But this ball sails just wildly over everybody's head and almost into the safety's arms. The other thing that annoys me is the thing that has annoyed me about every single one of these plays. So I think he's trying to throw it to Reed. This first of all, this is a problem. And we can pin this on Matt LaFleur if we want to. This is probably, you got, I would say 3 guys that are kind of your main guy. You got Tucker Kraft coming up here. By the way, he's open. You could throw it to him. Is he going to get a first down? I don't know. But then you got the guy at the bottom of the screen running the quick out. We'll get to that in a second. But you've also got this guy who's just going to run and in. He's going to get up into the chest of the defender. He's going to kind of do a little crafty push off and get to the middle of the field. The reason I don't like that, and I would rather Reed be the guy on the outside trying to push to the outside boundary and run around a guy and have somebody like Dobbs or Wicks in here, is because this is the guy you want to be able to win a physical matchup in man coverage. Reed is the worst guy that we have. Right? Everybody's mad at Reed because he had a bad day. Yes, he's not good at man coverage. He's a smaller guy, okay? He's a specialist. He does a lot of things really well. Beating physical corners in man coverage is not one of them. So, everybody's got to win in man coverage and all that. Reed, kind of sort of does, and that's the guy who's the ball gets sailed over his head. The biggest issue I have, as you can probably guess, bottom of the screen, we've got, who do we got down there? Is that Bo? I can't even tell. That might be Bo Melton. Guess what he's running? And guess if he's open. Right at the frickin' sticks, like always. He's running an out route. Run up, right? And then run to the sticks. He's wide frickin' open. I wish Jordan would just know it's going to be there because, granted, he didn't have a lot of time. But if you could have timed it to throw it just as he's about to come out of his break, this ball could have landed right in his hands. Easy first down. Easy first down. So massive round of applause to everybody that is blocking that isn't named Rasheed, because that's a disaster. Jordan did have the wherewithal to know that the ball needs to come out quickly, but he chose the exact wrong person to throw to. He basically just stared down Reed, decided I'm throwing to Reed no matter what, waited for him to kind of come out of his break, airmails it over his head, and it nearly gets picked. I don't know if you can be mad at him because you can say, okay, well, maybe that's a Matt LaFleur problem as far as progressions. His first read is Reed. That sucks in this situation. Your first read maybe should be to the boundary or to Tucker or something to that effect. That's the thing I don't know. But I'm constantly annoyed that this route is open every time and we never throw it. Until the end of the game when we're hitting Romeo Dobbs with that. This is open every time. So, again, Rasheed messed it up. Tucker was open, but probably gets hit short. Dobbs was kind of open, but that was a little bit too slow developing. He's kind of running the same thing as Reed, but he's pushing further down the field. Reed doesn't really get separation. Maybe that play could have worked, but I think he would have got taken down short. And then you got the out route at the sticks that would have been a first down. I don't know if Jordan had time. He didn't even bother looking. It's beyond annoying. All right, so you had to punt there, right? Yes, probably should have run the ball. Jordan was just not doing it. The blocking was great aside from Rasheed. I really didn't have an issue with the play calling. I know, again, you can nitpick a couple things, but you had 2 deep passes that were there that were missed. You had a third down option that was open on the third down, and it didn't get thrown. For whatever reason, I don't know, is what it is, right? So they had to punt. Next series, 6:02 left in the first. Did they learn their lesson? I think so, because the first play is a run. By the way, we're starting at about the 46, 47-yard line. Great field position. Another Josh Myers appreciation comment. Josh Myers essentially just blows a massive hole through here to create a lane. Again, kind of a cool thing where Elton Jenkins kind of pretends like he's blocking a guy and then last second pushes a guy out of the way as Josh Myers comes in and grabs the guy that Elton pretended to block and just pushes him about 5 yards clean out. Now, he gets off eventually, but I mean, the hole that he had to run through, maybe I shouldn't appreciate Josh Myers too much because the guy that he was blocking eventually got to Josh Jacobs, but still, he blew a hole in there. Between him and Elton Jenkins, that hole was absolutely massive. So good effort there. Maybe wish he could have blocked a little longer. Wish Josh Jacobs could have got a little more out of that, but still 6 yards and a giant hole to run through is exciting. It's a good thing. Good start. Here we go, boys. Next play, we're going to run again, right? We only need 4 yards. Let's do it again. This time, no dice, and it appears that Elton Jenkins is primarily the culprit here. I mean, it's a tough assignment. He's nose to nose with a guy. He's got to get out and kind of wall off number 90. Now, 90 can see immediately where he needs to go, so they're both running in that direction, but he's got to be able to plant his feet and stop that momentum. The offensive line from Josh Myers on is pushing to the right. You need to wall off so that it creates a gap, right? As they push people right and you hold people right here, it creates a gap. The problem is number 90 pushes straight into Josh Myers and it essentially closes that hole. Now, Josh Myers looks like he's peeking at running between right guard, right tackle, but that kind of gets blown up. Sean Ryan loses that battle. Josh Myers is no help. He's just kind of pushing to the side. So he says, all right, I'll go the other way. And Elton Jenkins completely loses that. Dontavian Wicks is trying to block down the field on a linebacker. That completely fails. So Sean Ryan and Josh Myers and Elton Jenkins and Dontavian Wicks basically did not block anybody, and it immediately got blown up. There's nowhere for him to go. Gets 1 yard, 3rd and 3. Packers go to shotgun, kind of give the impression that maybe they're going to throw here. Instead, they hand off from shotgun. Yes, believe it or not, you can hand off from shotgun in a short yardage situation, and it's not a disaster. It's only a crime when it doesn't work and everybody happens to notice it. But when we run this all the time and it works, it's just kind of ho-hum, we're moving on. But yes, we went into shotgun to get 3 yards on a 3rd down, and they picked it up with absolutely no issue whatsoever. Blocking was actually very simple. They just kind of did mano-a-mano across the board. Josh Jacobs was able to choose where to go, and they more or less let the defense kind of dictate. So Sean Ryan, for example, is blocking, looks like Blake Cashman. Cashman kind of jumps to the inside. Ryan says, okay, fine, you want to go that way, pushes him that way, and Josh Jacobs sees it, says, okay, there's my hole, pushes right through. He eventually gets caught by the linebacker safety's corners. He picks up more than enough yards to get a 1st down. Nice, simple, easy run play. Next play is a beautifully designed screen, something you don't see enough of with the Green Bay Packers. People kill us with it constantly. The Lions are killing people with it 24/7. But it was just a absolutely beautiful play. Tucker Kraft goes to kind of feign blocking, make it look like he failed. Everybody bites on it. Tucker kind of does a little push, spin, hey, I'm open, turns around. Offensive linemen get behind him, catches the pass, turns and runs. Real good blocking all the way down the field. Sean Ryan lead blocking. You got Musgrave blocking, and it's a huge pickup. And then on top of that, you've got a penalty by Harrison Smith on a low block, which is a big controversy. Oh, well, why did we get penalized for that when Tucker Kraft hit a guy low? By the way, if you're in that discourse, Tucker Kraft did not commit a penalty, okay? Just throwing that out there. It's been admitted even by the Vikings coaching staff. All right, so we're moving and grooving here, right? 1st and 10 from the Minnesota 11-yard line, 3:50, 0-0 is the score. First play, they're going to run a little trickery. They're going to bring Tucker Kraft across the formation as though he's a lead blocker, run a little play action to Josh Jacobs. They get everybody to bite. Everything's great, but essentially it's 2-on-2. So you make sure that the edge guys, the linebackers, all bite down hard enough so that you got space, throw the little screen out there, and the ball gets to the problem is, and I think the problem could potentially be the throw and the timing and whatnot as well. And the reason I say that is because it's it's essentially a 2-on-1, right? You've got Romeo Doubs blocking one guy, but then you've got one guy that's completely unaccounted for. Well, the easiest way to do this is for have Bo Melton, who's the receiver, run behind Romeo Doubs to get to the outside. The problem is Jordan throws it forward, so Dobbs has to go, or Bo Melton has to go run forward to catch it, and he runs essentially right into the defender. He can't stop and turn and get behind Romeo Doubs. Ideally, you throw this out to the sideline so that he can catch it, get around the outside, et cetera, et cetera. Jordan put it in a way where he had to run forward to get it. He catches it and immediately gets taken down by the safety, I think it is, Harrison Smith maybe. So the play didn't work, and again, I think placement had a lot to do with it because the second he caught it, he went down. But all right, we got a little cute with it. Again, if you run the ball and it doesn't work, everyone's saying, why isn't he in his bag? He goes in his bag and it doesn't work, and it's why are we getting cute? Whatever, man. At the end of the day, freaking execute. Now we got 2nd and 9. This time they actually run that run play. Tucker Kraft goes in motion, comes back as the lead blocker. The run didn't really work out very well. It's kind of hard to determine why. I mean, he didn't follow his block. I don't know that if he did, it would have worked out. I understand what he's trying to do. I think a lot of people were taken off guard. For example, Josh Myers thought he was blocking away from the play. Josh Jacobs, I don't know why all these names are getting jumbled in my head. Josh Jacobs kind of comes behind him. Defender easily gets off Josh and is able to make the tackle. He seems kind of shocked that it's happening. I don't know. It just, it's hard to identify anybody doing a terrible job. Ben Sims got annihilated pretty quickly, but didn't end up going that direction. And I don't think that's the reason Josh Myers didn't go that way, because he didn't even see that happen. I think he saw green grass. He tried to set up the linebacker to go a different direction. He burst through there, but it closed pretty quick. Happens a lot when you don't follow your blockers. I talked a ton about that with A.J. Dillon. You see green grass, and it feels like it's a really good opportunity, but in the NFL, man, that green grass turns into nothing real fast. So 3rd down, we're trying to get a touchdown here, and the concept is very, very simple. We got Musgrave on one side. We got Jaden Reed on the other. Jaden Reed is going to try to push up toward the goal line, create a little bit of a pick or rub or whatever you want to call it. Musgrave's going to come underneath that, try to create a little separation on the guy that's covering him as he sprints toward the goal line. Should be pretty easy to do. I mean, Musgrave's got that speed. As long as you can get a little hesitation there, you should be good. There's 2 big problems here, though. Number 1 is that Jaden Reed doesn't really get enough depth. He's actually in Musgrave's way. So you see Jaden Reed jump up toward the goal line, and Musgrave has to plant his foot and jump down. So now, instead of kind of being at the 5-yard, and this could be Musgrave's fault to begin with, maybe he got a little bit too deep to begin with, but either way, instead of kind of pushing down the field and trying to create some separation, the defender has to run around. It's not that hard for him. He can identify it. He immediately runs around. Musgrave's the one that kind of has to stutter step and try to go around this disaster of a situation. It goes kind of well, but it's a tight spot now. He's got about a couple steps on him, but he's also got to make it to the goal line. He's got to get north, whereas the defender can kind of cut him off. So it's going to be iffy whether or not he can get there. The next big issue is that the only way this works is if the ball is out, away, and in front of Musgrave, so he can catch it, continue running, and get to the end zone. That's not what happens. The ball ends up low and behind him. So Tucker Kraft has to slow down, bend the wrong direction, catch it down at about his knees, and then try to turn around and get around the corner. That's not going to happen. The defender's right there, and he takes him down at about the 3-yard line. So couple issues there that, again, that might be a Musgrave thing. He hasn't been in here very long. Maybe he got a little bit too much depth. Maybe it's a Reed thing. He didn't get enough depth, but you can't have 2 guys about to run into each other. And again, it wasn't that big of a deal. I think Musgrave, if you look at it in real time, really was not an issue. The pass, though, killed the play entirely. It was never going to happen. There was a little bit of pressure, but not enough that you could totally blame it on that. Jordan Love kind of does his little fadeaway sidearm thing. I don't know that was really necessary to do. It's just kind of how he likes to throw the football anyways. And again, the placement just wasn't there. I don't know if he gets home anyways, but I can guarantee you 10 times out of 10, if you put the ball in that spot, it's not going to work. That play is completely dead. He's got to get that ball out in front of him so he can continue running and try to push north into the end zone. So it was never going to work. But all right, so that ended in a field goal. Packers go up 3-0. Why don't we take a break here? This might end up being kind of a 2-parter, but that's where we're at so far, and we'll pick up from there. We'll be right back. All right, we officially just made it into the second quarter. Vikings up 7-3. Packers marching down again. Just to kind of recap, first drive looked good, ended in a fumble. Second drive died. You could blame it on the passing instead of running thing if you want. Really not good passes from Jordan. So that ended in a punt. Third drive, again, looked really good, largely based on the run game. And half of you are going to be really mad at me, but I think largely died because we put the ball in Jordan's hands and he threw 2 bad passes. First play, we got, again, several people running routes. Let's count it here. We got 1, 2, 3, 4 guys running routes. Josh Jacobs is going to stay in and block. We've got a lot of kind of longer developing plays. And it's funny because this is very reminiscent of the second drive. Because what we got here is Romeo Doubs is running kind of a post corner route or whatever. You kind of break to the inside and then break back to the outside. That play, I think, is probably there. I don't know. It's hard to tell because the safety is not acting the way he would if the ball, if Jordan was turning that way and throwing, maybe it's not there. I think that ends up being open. Jordan's not even looking. He has no interest in taking the deep shot. He just wants to kind of dink and dunk, which I'm okay with, right? If things aren't going well, let's just go steal some yards if they're going to give us some yards, and that's what he does. Jaden Reed comes up and just kind of runs to a soft spot in the zone. They dump it off to him. He picks up a couple yards. I think there were other options. There were some deeper shots, some more high-risk throws. He said, nope, we're just going to steal yards. Okay, fine. That's what we're doing. That sets up, that was 6 yards, which again, anytime you can steal 6 yards on first down, I have no issue with that. 2nd and 4. The toss is to Josh Jacobs. I don't need to overanalyze this one. It's real simple. Josh Myers kind of killed this one. He is in a very tough spot. Again, these they're having a problem for whatever reason. The defensive line immediately keys off on something. They know exactly what direction to go. They start jumping in that way. Josh Myers has got to snap the ball and then try to get out in front of him and wall him off. He never had a chance. He's basically running behind him, trying to obstruct in any way that he can. 97, the defensive lineman comes clean across and just tears up Josh Jacobs. It's done. If that hadn't happened, Zach Tom has a beautiful block. Tucker Kraft has a beautiful block. That's kind of where he's trying to run. That's all walled off. You've got, who is this? No, that's Kraft. So Sims, I think. It's hard to tell. Sims, I think, had a great block. So you run between Sims and Zach Tom, and Tucker Kraft got up to the next level and had a beautiful block on the linebacker. I mean, this is a 10-yard play, probably at least. I mean, eventually you're going to get up to the next level, and there's somebody unblocked, but Josh Myers not able to get that block and just killed it. So picked up 3 yards because of that forward momentum. He's still a beast. He's still able to get some yards with nothing there. That brings up a 3rd and 1. I haven't been super paying attention to the third downs and what exactly they've been doing. How many third downs have we been in here? So there was the 3rd and 2 where we completed a pass to Wicks for 8 yards. So that was not a deep pass, and it was a conversion. 3rd and 10, threw a deep pass to Jaden Reed, but it needed to be, and by deep, it just meant 10 yards down the field. Then we've got a 3rd and 3. Josh Jacobs ran for 7 yards. And then you've got a 3rd and 7 where that was the one where for the touchdown we threw to Musgrave. That was short. So no deep bombs yet. The only quote-unquote deep pass was to Jaden Reed. And again, that was kind of short of the stick. So that was not a bomb. This time, handoff, Josh Jacobs. He runs up the middle for 13 yards. 3rd and 1, no bomb, just a run, converts it. Just beautiful execution by everybody. Zach Tom again holds down that side. He's just done a fantastic job. Sean Ryan is kind of that bulldozer, the guy that's like, just get in this guy's shoulder and push that direction. And then Josh Myers has to get up to the next level and wall a guy off. Those are the 3 main guys. They all 3 did a fantastic job. Josh Jacobs had nothing more to do than just kind of run in a straight line and take a bunch of guys out. So very, very well done. Now we got 1st and 10 from the 48-yard line. Next play, again, is a run up the middle. Josh Jacobs gains 5 yards. This, by the way, was the play in question when you had Tucker Kraft coming across the formation. hitting a guy low and taking him out, ended up getting injured. Not a penalty, by the way. It's a little choppy, but overall the blocking, very, very good. Josh Jacobs is able to kind of navigate his way through and cut through some guys here. A few people on the ground struggling to get up, Wicks and Josh Myers, but at the end of the day, pretty good play, pretty good run for 5 yards. That sets up a 2nd and 5. We have 4 guys running routes on this passing play. Tucker Kraft's going to be kind of your relief valve. He's going to go out into the flat. So again, it's 2nd and 5. So if you pick up 2-3 yards here, there's nothing wrong with that. So Tucker Kraft is a very viable option. He just has one man to beat. And by the way, they're playing man coverage. This is another reason why throwing underneath to Tucker Kraft would have been extremely intelligent. How many times now have I said, maybe you can make a man miss? When you got Josh Jacobs and Tucker Kraft and they're playing man coverage, do you understand that if Tucker Kraft beats this guy, this could potentially be a touchdown? Because, by the time the safety, probably not a touchdown, but the safety's at the 20-yard line. Tucker Kraft is at about the 50-yard line. Safety's at the 20-yard line on the opposite side of the field. The only guy on Tucker Kraft's side of the field is a cornerback who is covering I don't know who and is in a dead sprint toward the end zone with his back turned to Tucker Kraft. You dump that to Tucker. If he beats his guy, it's an easy first down. It's a massive gain. If he doesn't, he probably picks up a couple yards. The other issue that I'm seeing here is, first of all, is pressure. And we'll have to kind of look from the other angle. It looks like Rasheed Walker again gets beat. So it's hard to 100% judge Jordan Love and his inability to get through his progressions. I don't know if he's just saying, I don't have time, I'm just going to throw this, or if he just is locked in. But he picked Jaden Reed from the beginning. He locked into Jaden Reed, and that was going to be it. And again, I don't know why he's obsessed with throwing to Jaden Reed, who is not your man coverage guy. Jaden Reed's coming across the middle. Here's another frustration. Jaden Reed kind of wins a little bit. If this is a better ball, if you throw it out in front of him, he's got a step of separation. The problem is it's underthrown. He has to stop and come back to the ball. Defender very easily reaches his hand in and bats it away. So it's another bad pass. Just so we're clear on this, Jordan Love has not thrown a single good pass in this game with the exception of 2 guys who are standing still about 5 yards down the field. Every other throw has been poor. My biggest issue is that you've got, who do we got there? I don't know if that's Romeo or whoever that is. It's man-to-man coverage. He beats the guy clean. This is a touchdown. This is as easy of a touchdown as you're ever going to see in the history of the universe. This is a touchdown all day long. To make matters worse, you know who it is? It's Bo. And the reason I say that to make matters worse, it's Bo, is very simple. Number one, again, man coverage, and it's single high. Why in the world is your mind not thinking, okay, if that safety drifts to that side, I got Bo Melton, who is the fastest guy on our team, not named Christian Watson, who is in man-to-man coverage on these DBs who are not very good. That's immediately where I want to go. Instead, he locks into Jaden Reed, decides to throw to Jaden Reed, which again isn't the worst thing aside from the fact that it's a bad ball. But this is a walk-in touchdown for Bo Melton. He never even looks. And again, I don't know the progressions, but here's the deal. Your job is to understand the defense. And I just intuitively, I'm looking at this and I'm saying, if I've got single high, and most of my routes are to the left side of the field, from my point of view, to the left, and the safety, who is a single safety, drifts hard to that side, so there is no help whatsoever to Bo Melton's side, who is in single man-to-man coverage. And it never even occurs to you to glance. And as far as the pressure, the other thing that makes it hard to give you a lot of credit is he doesn't see the pressure. So, maybe this never would have worked if he tried to get it to Bo because it just wasn't time or whatever. I don't know. But it's just annoying. It's just very annoying. And yes, Rasheed Walker, at the very least, let me see if anybody else was, that whole left side of the line didn't look to be doing too great. Actually, left side. Hold on. Who the heck is that over there? Is that Sean Ryan? Oh, no, that's Josh Jacobs. That's a running back. He ended up on the left side, but Josh Jacobs just got absolutely beat and ended up in Jordan Love's face pretty quick. But that was after the ball was out of his hand a little bit. Yeah, it looks like Rasheed Walker is the main culprit again, allowing a quick pressure. So the other frustration is Jordan might have been hit as he was thrown a little bit, so it's kind of hard to tell if that's maybe why the ball wasn't very good. But, yeah, it's just, 3, 4, 5 things on this play that you look at and go, well, this sucks for a lot of reasons. And it sure as hell has nothing to do with play design because Matt LaFleur had Bo Melton for a walk-in touchdown. If we could have blocked and if Jordan would have looked, it's an easy touchdown, assuming we got an accurate ball down the field, which, he had 5 steps of separation. It was dead. He could have stopped, and he still could have had a touchdown. But again, lack of execution. Anyways, we get bailed out because it's a pass interference that gives us 1st and 10 from the Minnesota 31-yard line. It's the one benefit of the ball being so underthrown or thrown from behind, the defender kind of just knocked into him to get the ball out. But first play, what do? We run the ball again. We run it to the right side again, which kind of seems to be our bread and butter lately. It's real nice when they do that. Again, there's been a lot of issues with them kind of understanding immediately where we're going. So you have Josh Jacobs. You got the 2 backs again in the backfield. Then you got, again, Josh Jacobs coming behind Jordan Love. And it just kind of freezes everybody. They don't know exactly what direction they're going in. So it allows our guys to kind of get in position so that they can't get a quick read on our guys. We got Elton Jenkins coming across the formation in the other direction. He pops a guy, really good block there. We've got, again, Brooks kind of lead blocking down the way. He gets in the way of a guy, so it's one-on-one. He's already picked up, what is it? What did I say? The 34-yard line. So he's picked up about 5 yards before contact and then ends up going down. What was that? How many yards did they say that was? 6-yard run? Maybe I got the yardage wrong. Whatever. Bottom line is real solid pickup on first down. It's a run play, and I just, if you pause this at the right time, you're thinking this is going to be a really big run. But I think Chris Brooks coming across the formation kind of misjudged who he was supposed to block because everybody runs right past 61. In fact, somebody, maybe Chris Brooks wasn't wrong. Somebody else was wrong. I think maybe Rashid was wrong because you've got Rashid Walker. So 61 is off the end where Rashid is. You've got Rashid and Tucker to that side and Chris Brooks coming across the formation to that side. Tucker and Rashid run right past 61, as does Chris Brooks. 3 guys run right past him. And so number 61 very easily grabs Jacobs for a no gain. Now, the reason I think that it was probably Rashid's fault is because, first of all, Tucker's not going to be able to block 61 from that angle, right? Based on the direction that they're going. Maybe Chris Brooks is supposed to pop this guy, but the problem is that's kind of the hole I think you're supposed to be running through. Maybe it's actually over here by Myers. I don't really know, but I think that's the... Are you really trusting a running back to stop a 315-pound guy? I don't think so. I think it makes sense because 30 came across the formation and did get a guy off the edge there. It would make a lot more sense to have Rashid block this guy and have Tucker try to get up to the next level and see how that goes. But blown assignment there. Somebody messed up. I think it was Rashid Walker, but I do not know. 3 guys run right past somebody, and that somebody, not surprisingly, ends up making a tackle, so it's no gain. That brings up 3rd and 4. Packers run quickly to get to the line. The play again is a potential, like trying to get a little bit of a rub route thing going on here. But again, you've got 5 guys running routes. So if we assume, okay, this is only Romeo that's going to be getting this, and it kind of makes sense to a point. The problem is the entire defense identifies it and comes down and tries to stop Romeo. The safety ran right past Dontavian Wicks, said, screw that guy, it's going to go to Romeo. Dontavian Wicks is standing in the middle of the defense, past the first down sticks with his hands out going, throw me the ball! But, Jordan is determined he's going to throw it to Romeo. Again, I'm positive that's your first read there. It's not that it didn't have any potential, but it sure as heck didn't have a lot of potential. Not only did the safety come down and was probably going to make a play, but the corner that was there came up and made a play before the safety could even get there. That play had so many people that were going to kill him, it wasn't even close. So, again, it's kind of just where Jordan just kind of has his eyes locked on somebody. Jeez, this angle is a lot worse even. If you could have just done a little pump fake to Romeo or not even, because everybody sold out so hard on him and just, this freeze frame is ridiculous. Again, obviously, this wouldn't be the way it goes. People are chasing Romeo at this point, but just this picture here of Wicks still with his hands out. He's still bracing for the catch as Dobbs already caught it. Wicks is still motioning like, bro, throw me the ball, with just nothing but green grass between him and the end zone. Plus, he's beyond the sticks, but throws it to Romeo. Romeo comes up short. Bad play design? Don't think so. If I got a wide open guy beyond the sticks, I'm not calling that a bad play design. That brings up the infamous 4th and 2 that everybody's really upset about, even though the analytics say that you should go for it in this situation. Jordan changes the play, which has got to make you scared to death as a coach. You're like, you decide to go for it. You make a call. You're like, here's the play. And then Jordan's like, no, we're going to do something else. Like, oh, damn it. Oh, no. And I think we all know how this goes. He's got, and again, Reed is not the best in man coverage. He's been open a lot in this game. But, Reed just coming quick across the formation. He's able to get the separation. I mean, it wasn't, he didn't even really press him, which is surprising. They've been pressing our guys. He kind of gave him a buffer. Reed took advantage of that, came inside. He's open. Jordan throws the ball. It's not a perfect ball. Let me get the other angle here, but I mean, this is one of those where I can't even be mad at Jordan because give me a freaking break. Also, as I mentioned before, it really seems like he kind of slowed down. It's hard to tell, but it feels as though Jaden Reed kind of stuttered a little bit for a minute there, or like it wasn't even a stutter. It's almost like he wasn't running full speed. Like he was expecting the ball earlier, like, come on, throw it. And then Jordan throws it out in front of him, and he's got to like hit the jets and go chase it a little bit. I don't know. It's a very weird situation. But if I back this up a little bit and play it out, I mean, this was not like the Dontavian Wicks thing earlier where he needed his arms fully extended and it probably wouldn't have been a catch anyways. This is like he dove for it, but it was at about his face level. I mean, his arms are 90 degrees. He could easily cradle that thing in. And this is not a difficult NFL level catch. I mean, this is a first down conversion. Could argue it's Jordan's first good throw of the game. But, everybody else stepped up. The offensive line blocked. Jordan threw a good pass. Jaden got open. The play design worked. Didn't catch the ball. So, Vikings ball. And again, am I mad that they went for it? Why would I be mad that they went for it? It was a freaking drop. I mean, it's I don't know. It's not like they couldn't have done it. It wasn't like it was difficult. I mean, up to this point, honestly, the Packers have had no difficulty moving the ball. And the only times that they have had difficulty, the plays have been there every single time. It's just been a lack of execution. But there's one more drive before halftime, so we'll get to that. And then tomorrow we'll decide if we're going to do the second half or just call it. But we'll go through this final drive here. It is 10-3 Vikings. Again, the offense has it's been a fight, but they've been able to move the ball. Kind of piss poor execution by several. I think Josh Myers has struggled several times. Rasheed Walker has struggled several times. Jaden Reed had the drop. Jordan has just not been good. And despite that, they've been able to move the ball pretty successfully, just have not been putting points on the board. Instead of getting 7, they ended up settling for 3. The next time, instead of settling for 3 again, they went for it and dropped a pass. So, I mean, with better execution, they could be at 14 points right now, or 17 points if they had scored touchdowns on those drives. Instead of they came away with 3. No, it would have been 14. Never mind, 14. Whatever, it doesn't matter. They moved the ball down the field into the red zone twice with very little opposition on 3 drives. Right, 2 out of 3 drives, you get down into the red zone, you have 3 points to, and that's a problem. First play, Jordan changes the play, so it's hard to know exactly what the initial call was, but they're going to run it. They got Jaden doing the little loop-de-loop thing where he runs in front of Jordan and then around the other way. The blocking is subpar, again, largely due to, looks like Elton Jenkins. There's still a hole to run through, but I don't think it was the predetermined hole. Again, Elton's trying to get out there to reach him and can't quite do it. And so that gets closed off. He just has to go backside. And so it ends up being okay. There's green grass there. He's able to pick up, how many friggin' yards did he get here? Picked up 4. So that's going to bring up, nope, never mind. It was 3. So it's going to be 2nd and 7. This time they're running a play that's almost identical with the Jaden Reed loop-de-loop thing again, but instead of running, they're actually going to run a pass play. Jordan Love, this is the play where he ends up taking off up the middle, picking up quite a bit of yards. If you want to be mad with Matt LaFleur on a play, this is probably the one. I think every other play up to this point, somebody's either been open or there's been opportunities. This is the first one where you look at it and just go, I just don't think that there's much there. We did have underneath options. We had Jaden Reed come into the flat. He's got a guy right in his face. You got Josh Jacobs releases late, so he's actually the fifth receiver. He goes into the flat. They got a linebacker right there, just charges down, so there's nothing there. And then you got three guys running pretty deep. One is, 5, 10, 15 yards down the field coming across the middle. He's got two guys on him. You've got Wicks going deep down the field. He's got essentially two guys kind of bracketing him. And then your one mano-a-mano guy is, looks like Dobbs, who's pretty well covered down the field. There really are not a ton of options here. The benefit, though, is, as has been mentioned, I forgot exactly who said it, but this is where Jordan Love can shine. When you've got this many guys deep down the field and you're largely playing, spread out football like this, there's a lot of green grass out there. If they're going to dedicate 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 guys on our three receivers, as well as bring a bunch of other pressure, 1, 2, 3, 4, they've got 5 guys bringing pressure. There's going to be a lot of space to run. So good on Jordan to recognize that. The offensive line created a nice little hole in the middle. He's able to go up and grab a bunch of yards. Brings up 3rd and 1, nice and easy play. Unfortunately, illegal formation. So instead of being 3rd and 1 with a nice, easy little run play, it turns into 3rd and 5, and they decide that they're going to pass the ball, and it doesn't turn out super great. But before we even get to it, you see the problem, right? Right out of the gate. We're in a 3rd and 1. Everything's fine. We're going to convert this 3rd and 1. There's no doubt about it. We're going to be almost to midfield. We're moving. We're right back in it. And we get frickin' beat up by a bull crap, I don't know how to line up because I'm a frickin' infant, penalty. And this is the deep shot to Bo Melton down the field. And again, what does everybody say? I don't know why we just need 5 yards, why we draw up plays to go 20 yards down the field. Well, we didn't really. Bo Melton is one guy. And yes, he's charging right down the field. It's man coverage. He's also drawing a safety away. We've got 1, 2, 3 other guys running routes, or 4 other guys running routes on the field. 4. He did not have to go to Bo. Now, I will say, there really are not a lot of other great options. It's hard to know because the ball gets released by Jordan pretty quick. Again, he predetermines in his mind, which I think is becoming a big problem for him. He determines pretty much right away, and maybe it's the coverage. I don't know. He decides he's going to take a shot. I don't know why. He's got 2 deep safeties, so you know it's going to be double covered. By the time he throws it, Bo isn't even shoulder to shoulder with the guy, so he's not getting behind him. Maybe if you could have tried to throw a back shoulder or something, I don't know, but there's absolutely nothing here. I think my preference would have been to throw to Josh Jacobs. He's about 5 yards short of the sticks, which sounds weird when you only need to go about 5 yards, but, it's weird how far back the entire line of scrimmage moves on these passing plays. But yeah, you throw it to him. He's out in front of his guy. He could probably get around the corner, maybe pick up a first down. There's really nothing else there. Everybody else is blanketed pretty well. Either way, the throw to Bo is stupid because it's double coverage. It's stupid because he didn't get behind the guy, and it's stupid because it was a terrible throw. He overthrew everybody. So yeah, again, not a lot of great options. This is the second one where you could probably blame Matt LaFleur for not calling the right play at the right time. But I do think you very easily, in my opinion, especially watching from this angle, I think you could have easily thrown a ball to Josh Jacobs. He may have come up short, I don't know, but give your guy a shot and see what happens. But we load up, we take a shot to nothing, and end up having to punt. And again, remember, the only reason we're in that situation is because somebody doesn't know how to freaking line up, and we get a penalty, and it just killed the entire drive. The Packers end up having to punt. That's the last time they're going to see the ball for the half. So they drove down the field. The drive stalled. They went for a field goal. Shouldn't have happened. Should have got a touchdown, but they stalled out. They got a field goal. Next drive, dead on arrival. Probably should have run the ball a little more. Either way, he had open men deep down the field. The Vikings were enticing them to take a shot. Matt LaFleur took a shot, got guys wide open down the field. Jordan missed twice. And then on the third one, airmailed a pass that probably could have, would have, should have been picked. Next drive, they get all the way down the field. Didn't convert a fourth down because of a drop. Next drive, they're kind of starting to move down the field. It gets derailed by a freaking penalty, turns into a third and medium. Jordan chooses to take a shot down the field, and it's a terrible decision, and they have to punt. When you say it that way, it doesn't sound like that crazy of a thing, but you realize you kind of have to be perfect all the way down the field. You start making mistakes like this, you're dead. And they just made too many freaking mistakes. There was too many bad decisions, bad throws, bad blocks, drops, whatever. It killed everything. And it started to turn this game into a spiral that it didn't need to be. Right? It's 10-3. It probably should have been 14-3. The Vikings make it 13-3. It probably shouldn't have even been 13-3 because if they could have sustained a longer drive, there's a very good chance that not only could they have potentially scored and put up more points and taken a bigger lead, but you would have prevented the Vikings from having the ball and having time to drive down the field and put up an additional 3 points. So, I mean, even if they could have just gotten a field goal out of that, you could be looking at 17-10. Instead, it's 13-3. Too many mistakes. Anyways, we're going to cut it there. Probably do this again tomorrow. We'll go through the last several. It'd be nice to kind of get to the good stuff. But yeah, that's it. I mean, nothing really went great. I mean, some of the offensive linemen did pretty well. Zach Tom in particular, I think, is the only one I didn't pick on. Matt LaFleur, as far as I can tell, did a good job aside from 2 plays. Jordan has been awful to start the half. Threw 1 good pass and it was dropped. I mean, I should say 3 good passes. 2 of them were curl routes with the guy just standing there waiting to receive the ball. And then one of them was a good pass in terms of like any level of difficulty whatsoever. And that's the one that got dropped. And this is, by the way, where I come back to the question of, is this the same old Packers that we've been seeing all year? Or was this just a mistake-prone disaster of a team that we haven't been seeing recently? It cannot be both, by the way. It's one or the other. And from my perspective, this is not how Jordan has been playing. This is not how the team as a whole has been playing. And all these mistakes that I laid out, this is not what's been happening. But it did happen in this game, and that's kind of a big problem. But anyways, you guys have a good rest of your day, night, whatever. I will talk to you tonight, tomorrow, whatever. Have a good one. Goodbye.